Welcome to Beyond the Buzzer.
Hi, I'm Josh, and this is my best friend Kyle.
You might recognize us. We are rural American high school athletes from the 90s, after all.
And we're here again on camera after 30 years to bring you our travels from
Beyond the Buzzer.
Hey guys, this is Josh, aka Ace One, back here with my best friend Kyle, aka the Duke. Welcome to episode 2 of our podcast. We're going to be doing the episode today called Seafood, and this is Beyond the Buzzer. So, Kyle, you want to introduce the episode we're doing today?
Yeah, so like Josh said, this is episode 2, Seafood, which is, we got the name, of course, from Rodney Dangerfield's character in the classic movie Caddyshack. That's the name of his yacht. And we're also going to have some seafood, so it seemed fitting.
And we're going to see some boating things and a lot of cool villages with a lot of boating activity. So, like we said, we're going to try to name every episode off one of our favorite movies. So this is Seafood. The last one is Rex Valley Day.
Here's Al Zervik right behind me here on the shelf. So he's even with us.
It's a brilliant movie, as you guys know. But we're just going to go quickly today. We're going to talk about the first time Kyle was up here. We spent a lot of time on the South Shore. He came back up later in the summer. He went to the Valley, did the wine tour and everything else. So that was our first one. So this is a great experience. We're just a little south of Halifax and running down the coast, and hopefully end up on a boat.
That's right. That's right. Before we get started, we're going to talk a little bit about the intro to the show. You guys might have noticed. Josh, you want to kick that off?
So I mean, we're here. We are. Kyle and I played basketball together. We were famous 90s rural American athletes and played for a Class A school. So some of you may recognize us from that experience. But we're playing today against Ballard County. It's a county right over next to us. We're about 15 minutes down the road from each other, so we share a lot of mutual friends. And one of our mutual friends didn't guard me on the inbounds pass there, and threw it into Kyle, and he throws it in at the buzzer, and he did that often throughout high school. And that's why, hence Beyond the Buzzer, because this is our life after that, and buzzer beaters are part of our game.
And we know how much our buddy Red likes to relive those memories of losing to us on a regular basis. So, Red, we just wanted to let you know we were thinking of you, buddy, and that you're part of the show.
Guard me on the inbounds. We got tons of highlights we're going to be throwing up from our illustrious career. So, hope you guys enjoy that. The intro, that it is our technical skills right now are kind of like elementary school bulletin boards. So stay with us. Our camera crew's on the way.
That's right. Yeah. But so let's get going. So like Josh said, I made a couple trips up to see him in Nova Scotia this summer. And this is kind of a mashup of both of those trips.
And there's one of our buddies that we'll see later drove through the border there. Kyle actually came on an airplane. So it's quite a drive from Kentucky. Our other buddy made it on the road. So we got that photograph of coming in the province from New Brunswick, which is cool. And we're just right down the south of Halifax. We spent some time there. It's a great city. We'll talk about that when Kyle comes up here and we spend more time. But this is summer. We want to be on the South Shore on the beaches. So we start at Queensland.
With refreshments, of course.
Of course. And so we're starting here on Queensland Beach. It's a beautiful beach. It is actually really popular with the locals. There's 10 beaches that are kind of drivable from this area. So this is just one. It's water's warm in the summertime. So you're back in a bay. Great place to spend the day.
Yeah, we had a great time there. And then we moved on down the road. We didn't waste any time. This was an awesome little place called Tuna Blue.
No, I wanted to get these guys here as fast as we could. And Kyle and I went up several times this summer to this beer garden. Back in the bay, it's very kind of a Caribbean themed place that you can pull your boat up, get off on the dock, go in and get a beverage. Usually bands playing, and the people that own it are fantastic. They're sailors who've sailed everywhere and wanted to have their own, their own home court when they come back on their sailboats from being around the world. Down the shore is a place called the Shore Club that does lobster suppers and late night music on Saturday. I didn't get a chance to take Kyle there, but it's another place not to miss. But Hubbard's is a great little cove. It's really protected. A lot of sailing races here, lots of cottages, lots of campgrounds, and actually a lot of film industry, which is pretty interesting here.
Yeah, so here's their website if you want to jump on there and take a look. But I highly recommend going by this place. You see the bay there behind it. You can sit on a picnic table, have a drink, have a snack, and just enjoy that beautiful view. But it's a fantastic place. Highly recommend it.
Great little rental place for kayaks and stuff around the corner. So don't miss Tuna Blue if you're in the area. It's a special place. And like I said, lots of filming and stuff there too. So you might run into some of that.
And for some
Colin,
reason, nobody offered Josh and I a part in a movie.
I don't know.
Has to be the strike that's going on. That's the only logical explanation.
That's what I would think. We're not crossing the picket line, even though a lot of people would ask us to do that, I'm sure.
So here's our next stop. Now this is the Tanner Brewery, I believe.
Tanner Brewery, yes. We're in Chester now, yes.
And one thing I thought was really cool about it, and maybe folks do it here in the States, I just haven't noticed, but they had a shelf with a bunch of just free board games, card games, trivia games. So you can come in, grab a drink, grab a game, and just hang out with your friends. And this is another fellow pirate, Brandon, and his lovely wife Christy, that joined us up this summer. And
Yep,
it's a very cool little place.
These are our good buddies that drove all the way from Kentucky, made a huge loop throughout the New England, and had a great summer, brought their kids along. So we all spent time together, just like we did back in high school in the locker room. So it's fun to keep friends over the years. Tanner's great. It's a German Protestant family that came up here, and you'll notice there's a theme with all these towns in Nova Scotia. The French discovered them. They were here for a while. The British took them back away. Most of the histories, started as early as the 1600s, but a lot of these towns were founded in the 1700s. So Tanner came over at some point when they were bringing Protestants in and kicking the Catholics to the curb, actually. And this is a beer that's traditionally different and has a lot of the European flavors, but it also has a lot of the North American stuff too. So go there and yeah, it's like candy store.
Yeah, very cool little place. Then we went on to the next place. Now this was one of my favorite places, I have to say. So this was called the Rope Loft.
Yes,
and I'll let you tell the story because you know it better than I do.
Well, yeah, but Kyle's right. This is just a cool spot. 1813, and this place was built from an American privateer ship that was wrecked off the harbor in the War of 1812 at some point. And this place has been there since 1813. They built it out of timbers from the ship. It was a rope loft where the sailors actually put their ropes up in lofts, and you can see here that I'll let Kyle tell this story, but it's a pretty cool piece of history.
Yeah. So this is the rum hole. This is where the sailors would drop rum to each other through the ship, and the rum holes in Kentucky are a little different than these, but I thought that was a really cool feature there.
No, the rum holes in Kentucky are the back of the Dukes of Hazzard's cars as they're driving the moonshine across the country. But this is the way they hit it when they came up here. Prohibition was a big business. There was a lot of sugar cane down in the Caribbean, boats up and down the coast. Canada didn't have that prohibition, so a lot of these boats are running rum and making a lot of money off that. We still have a lot of roads named Rum Runner Trail and Buccaneers Avenue and a lot of pirate history. There's not a straight angle in this place. You feel like you've had 10 beers just walking around because it's like a fun house, but the food's great. The views are great. And
they have lots of like nautical maps and stuff hanging up as a decoration, which just kind of really sucks you into that whole being on a ship theme. It's really cool.
You get the coastal theme for sure. And good. I mean, rainy day, sunny day, it doesn't matter just because the vibes there are great. So here we are again.
So again, three pirates in a ship. So
3 pirates and an old pirate ship. Really cool to see Brandon and Kyle up here this summer. We've traveled a lot of other places. We'll share some of those later, but nice to spend time in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, Brandon will definitely be showing up in some later episodes. So if you like looking at him, you're in luck because he will. You are. So here's the outside view there on the deck.
Yes, and I think we saw Judge Smells from Caddyshack up on that deck, so it fit with our seafood theme this year.
Yes, I believe he did sail the Flying Wasp through the waters there.
There's plenty of Flying Wasp. You can smell the old money in this town, but it's super charming. It's like Nantucket. It's like Cape Cod. You can see the boats going out to the Tancook Islands right there. This is Mahone Bay with like 365 islands, so it's a sailor's paradise.
So here, real quick, I'm going to touch on this. This was a drink that I discovered while I was there. It's called a Crafty Rattler. It's kind of a mixture of beer and like a fruit soda, and it was absolutely delicious. I got one everywhere I went, I think, if they had one.
Makes sense to me. This was new. Kyle turned me onto these, and they're I guess a Nova Scotia thing. We read on the can they're a German. They're like mixed up for like when you get done with a race or a bike ride. You don't want something too heavy. You just want refreshing. So it's the summertime vibe, and whew,
Yeah, I never want
really,
anything
really
heavy
good.
after my bike rides for sure.
No,
But most of the flavors, it was usually like a grapefruit or a blood orange. But it wasn't overpowering. It was a really good mixture, and I mean, I'm just glad somebody came up with something useful for a grapefruit. So might as
yeah,
well
and
mix it with a beer.
it's still beer. Still beer, but
But yeah, if you're up there, I highly. They're not very strong. They're about, I think they're around that 4.5, 5% alcohol range. So they're one. If you want a good sipping beer throughout the day, it would be a good choice.
yeah, that's what we were trying to do. Just kind of run through the towns and have a taste here and a taste there, so we could see a lot of different places. So,
Again, here's
yep,
their
there's the
website if you want
website.
to get on there and take a look. But very, very cool place. Highly recommend going by there. I think we went there a couple times.
We went there a couple times. I was actually back there this week, and they close down through the winter, so soak it up in the summer when they're open. It's one of the best decks in all of the South Shore. Oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah. Then of course, I mean, we couldn't be in Nova Scotia without visiting the famous Oak Island. My dad is a huge fan of the show, so I had to talk Josh into running me by there.
Yeah, it's cool. The convention center is great. They redid it, of course, with all the money coming in from the tourist from the show on the History Channel. If you haven't seen it, there's a money pit. There's a deep pit out on Oak Island, and here's some of the treasure map Kyle's showing you there. They haven't, they found some cool stuff. They have a lot of inscriptions. They brought up some coins. They brought up some different stuff, and who knows if it was a dry dock and just a pit there to move water where they were doing work on ships, or if there's really a treasure down there. But it's a fascinating story, and there's definitely a lot of history with privateers and pirates coming back and forth across the East Coast. So who knows what's out there?
So if you'll follow my pointer here on the screen, this area that I'm circling, that is the actual Oak Island itself. That's about as close as you can get. They wouldn't
It's
let Josh and I dig for treasure for some reason.
No, I don't know. Our credentials weren't good enough as 90s rural American high school athletes, but there are boat tours that can go around there. It's a great place for family. I think we got some other pictures of kind of the campus.
Yeah,
So,
so you got tennis
yeah,
courts, swimming pools,
great
decent
marina,
boats.
super great marina, great food, and yeah, great. A lot of conferences, a lot of businesses holding their conferences there and everything. But really cool. I've gone down there to listen to lectures about the mysteries of Oak Island, and had authors, writing books about it, explaining their theories, and if the Spanish galleon got blown off or what it is. But no doubt there is some cool pirate history up here.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
definitely worth a trip there.
All right, so we're just down the road into Mahone Bay, the city. Mahone Bay is a bay. There's St. Margaret's Bay and Mahone Bay are huge twin bays off the Atlantic. But this is Mahone Bay proper. And these three churches right here, the Instagrammable moment when you pull into town, everybody takes this picture. I think it's definitely on postcards. I believe it was on the Canadian stamp at some point. But some of that colorful history of the different buildings, there's blues. You can see kind of on the far left the blue, but there's blues, purples, lots of rich
Very
colors through
colorful
town.
driving through there. Yes.
And you park, a lot of people, we're there kind of on an overcast moment, but around every bend on the South Shore, you never kind of, what kind of weather you're going to get. Lots of times in the summer, it's really sunny, lots of galleries, lots of farm shops, and a really mean crepe lady that serves crepes. If you go in there, she'll treat you terrible and serve you the best crepe ever. I highly recommend seeing her when you're around.
So here was our next stop. So again, going along with that Oak Island theme, we went by the Mug and Anchor Pub, which there's a lot of scenes in the show filmed there.
Yes, and it's right out of the old country. It feels like you're in an actual English pub. You can feel the colonial history in this place. Great deck upstairs. So Kyle and I had to bring him here. I was like, "You're gonna have to check this place out," and he had to introduce him to something he didn't know about before.
This was my first Caesar, and I have to say I fell in love. They are phenomenal. So they're
They don't make them
basically
with Caesar salad dressing.
No, they don't. We've heard a story about that, and
Yes.
but no, it's a Canadian take on a Bloody Mary, I guess. But
Yes.
instead of just tomato juice, they use clamato juice. So there's some briny clam in there, and it's that's going to turn a lot of people off just saying that. But don't let it, because it is
No.
great.
No, it's really refreshing. I don't know who thought, oh man, we don't have enough tomatoes. Let's add some clam juice and see how this goes. But you throw a couple of shots of vodka in there, some spices, some pickled vegetables, and they even have a Caesar day. It's how famous it is up here. If you haven't heard of Caesar's, you probably will. Canada is famous for them. If you're ever up here, they're going to be on every menu everywhere. So Kyle missed a poutine this time, where that gives him reason. It gives him reason to come back. I don't want to give it all at once, so he has reasons to come back and hang out. The Caesars are fun though. This is I don't know what to say about them. They're refreshing. Kyle went home and experimented how to make them himself, and actually found the stuff.
I actually found Clamato juice in Louisville, so I was pretty excited. So I've had a few since I've been back. They're not quite the same. I'm still tinkering with the recipe, but I've still enjoyed them. They're highly recommend getting one of these if you make it up north.
Yeah, they're good. Just a cool pub too. More views out in Mahone Bay. You can see some of the islands out there, and yeah, lots of great golfing down here too, folks. So here's this. Go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
I was going to say, so here's when Josh pitched for me to come back a second time. This was kind of what really talked me into it. He told us about that they had a deep sea fishing trip planned here in Lunenburg, and it's kind of like Blues Traveler. The hook will bring you back, and that's exactly what happened. So we'll let Josh give you the history on it, but it was you can see from this picture, it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so that was my daughter making a cameo. She's a future movie star, so she had to come in and make sure she was on the podcast. I guess we'll allow it. I don't know. She is trying to borrow from our fame. Probably going to help her a little bit. But yeah, definitely. So this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's not easy to get a designation like that. I think there's only 2 UNESCO World Heritage towns in all of North America. And the reason this has been preserved and given this designation, it is the oldest planned British colony in the world. And so, like I said, the French and the British passed power back and forth quite a bit, and then really wanted to come over here once the British established that this was going to be their province, I guess, through war and famine and horrible acts of history. But this is, this is a place that they came and they brought people in to settle and say, we're going to make this part of our new world. And so it's been here since 1762. Great. It's never burned. All the buildings are right there together, and it's walkable. And this is one of the cool places that is housed in an old blacksmith shop there.
Yeah. So we made a stop here at this distillery, Ironworks Distillery. Here's their website if you want to check it out. But we thought it'd be a good idea to get some maple cream rum for our morning coffees to get our day started. And the way they age this is really cool. They actually put it in the barrels and send them out on the water for up to 18 months and just let the natural motion of the water do all the mixing for them. So
yeah, it's some of it's aged in a boat there in the harbor. It's on a wood. I'll back up a little bit. This is a wood fire distillery, which is cool, and it looks like C3PO. But yeah, they take this and put them in bourbon barrels from where we're at, and they store it in the harbor. It sloshes around in the boats. They also send it on boats and around the world. So it's a unique experience, and that the shipbuilding industry in Lunenburg is great. So they built a lot of boats out of this place. The rum's dangerous, and the maple cream rum is great for one, but watch having 4 in the morning. That's not the best way to go to the beach.
No. You think it's a good way to start the day, but it
tastes great.
Comes back to get you.
It does. It catches up with you quick.
So of course they gave us a couple free samples there too. So we decided we needed to refuel a little bit, and this was my first taste of mussels. So
yeah, so we're down at the Grand Banker. It's an excellent pub with views over the harbor are great. So mussels are a big deal up here. I think that the story is back in the day, they used to blind taste test against Paris and win awards for all the shellfish in the Maritimes. This is like a white wine vinegar sauce. So good. It was really fun to try a bunch of different new seafood Kyle hasn't had. So
yeah, and it was very tasty. I mean, I don't know if I would choose it over a Lee's barbecue or Starnes barbecue, but definitely worth a try if you make the trip up to Canada for sure.
No, and luckily this little village has a little barbecue place. It doesn't compare to our southern barbecue, but when in Rome, eat seafood, I guess.
So here's the website for the Grand Baker. So yeah, you can get on there and take a look at them, and I'll have these links in the description of the show, so you guys can click on them easy if you want to take a look at some of these places.
Endless places to eat in Lunenburg, though. Here's another one we're at. This is just a little fish and chips place right outside. Open in the summer. We ordered our food. We were starving. We got up late. May have had too much maple cream rum to start. Who knows?
It happens.
We're starving, and we get our food, and we're getting calls from the boat because we're going to go on a fishing trip today.
Yeah, so it's literally 12:58. The boat is leaving at 1 o'clock, and we are still waiting for food. So, needless to say, we did not get it in time.
No, I did. I paid and left and said, please keep it for us. We'll see what happens. It's Canada. Usually good things happen. So we trusted them, and we ran down the hill. We didn't fall, and we stumbled on the boat and got ready to go get our dinner.
And here we go. So here's our weapons that we use to reel in our dinner. And here we go with Josh's son. And for some reason, the 16-year-old did not want to get in on the matching hats with the adults. I don't understand.
Having a collection of matching hats with anchors on them. I was awarded with for drinking a 6-pack at a time when I lived out in Victoria, BC. So I had 4 or 5 of these, and I had 4 friends going out on the boat today. So we all wanted to match and wear our captain's hat because, they're seaworthy.
Absolutely. So here we go, headed out into the bay.
Such a pretty ride. It's worth the ride alone.
This was some of our competition. They didn't know what they were in for going up against us.
No, I don't know how many people were on this boat, maybe 20, but we had basically the entire starboard side to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And so here's the view of the town going out to
nice.
deep sea. But I got to talk about this guy right here. I am pretty sure when he got on this boat, he thought his hat game was strong till we came in rocking the shit out of these captain's hats.
Yeah, and he was nice enough. I talked to him, but there was definitely a rivalry going on between his captain's hat. He looks like he's from the Love Boat. We look like that we're actually professional boat captains. So
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was gracious in defeat.
He was.
So here's another old ship that they were doing some repairs on.
Yeah, it's just incredible, the craftsmanship these skilled people came over with. They years and years ago, cutting down timber, building ships, and I could go on and on about Lunenburg. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. So here we go, saying goodbye to dry land.
It's like I said, it's worth the trip alone. The guy gives the history of the town. You go out, the fishing's great. We're catching all day, and
you can see we switched over to Josh. Tell him about this beer. This was our sipping beer that we had.
We're from the States. Most of our friends are from the States, but we have States. We have our Budweiser or Coors or Millers or stuff like that. Up here, they got their Olin's, their Keefs, and so this is Olin. It's a really old brewery that's been around, and we're switching to our session beers for the day. So Olin's, if you need session beers for fishing, for sure.
Yes. So here we go. There's the whole crew.
Gang.
Look at, just like I said, those hats were just.
This is my wife, Melissa. This is one of my boys' coaches, Jody. She's one of the. We've coached together a couple of years. She's an excellent basketball coach. So
and also very, very skilled at fishing. She whipped our ass so bad it's still hard for me to sit down.
No, but she's definitely needs to be on Beyond the Buzzer with her basketball prowess. So
yeah, so Jody, we're issuing an invitation. Anytime you want to come talk with us, you just let us know.
Basketball or fishing, either one, we need you.
That's right. Maybe both. Who knows? But now I thought this was really cool. So we started, as on our way out, you can see all these old caves. And of course, immediately I thought of the Goonies.
It's very Goonie-esque. These were old gold mines. They call this the Ovens, and there's a little park down from Lunenburg you can camp at and hike these trails. So I've hiked these with my kids before. They go quite a bit of the ways in there, and there were some natural caves, but they found some gold veins and dug them out more. And we were looking the whole time. We were really certain One-Eyed Willie was about to sell out of there and chase us down.
And I believe it was about right here as we got out. I heard a very faint, "Hey, you guys," but maybe it was just me. I don't know.
I don't know. I got hungry for a Baby Ruth when I was going through there.
So here we go. I don't know if this video will load, but Josh and I here we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Little toast to head out to start to catch our dinner for the evening. And of course, here's Josh just grabbing his mackerel in front of everybody.
It's a huge catch right there. These mackerel they're interesting. They're really good smoked. I don't know what I think about them cooked, but they're easy to catch and they run all the time. Has really pretty pattern on them though.
So here's the crew again. The one cool thing about this fishing tour, they don't just go to one spot and sit. If they take you somewhere and the fish aren't biting, they
Then
tell you to
Jody,
pull them up and they'll move to another place.
mostly at Jody's suggestion, she knows what to do.
Yeah, she definitely knows what she's doing for sure. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Red snapper from the Wheel of Fish,
No.
but no, this was my cod. Just want you all to see my cod.
And it's red, but not the snapper. And Kyle maybe should have taken what's in the box, but we kept this one. It was a keeper. Me, Kyle, and all got one cod. I think they got like 8 or 9 between the girls, so they kicked our butts even if they were down a person. And the reason this color is red, they said, is because of the kelp on the bottom. Here's the secret, guys. You guys go out there, you drop it to the bottom. Kelp's like 4 feet. So you reel in about 4 feet up and then you start bobbing right there. We figured that out at the end of the fishing trip and after we started watching the girls, but you're catching fish.
After Jody had caught 8 keepers and probably thrown away even more than that, we finally started to catch on, but we were too far behind at that point.
It was fun. A lot of fun.
Still beat the rest of the boat, and I'm going to brag on myself a little bit. I did set a rookie record for most times tangling my line with other fishermen.
Yeah, that I've kind of, even with a week, I've almost forgot about that. But you caught not only your neighbors next to you, but the people on the opposite side of the boat from underneath the boat. I'm not sure, but it was a gift. It was a gift.
It's a talent. I don't think I can teach it. It's just God given.
Yeah.
But I had 3 consecutive casts where I tangled my line with 3 separate people, which I believe is another record. So,
but we also had times that we'd catch 7 doubles in a row on the line. So, we were getting other stuff too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's just a special talent you had. Not everybody else on the boat seemed to possess that.
Well, and the thing is, you're not casting when you're doing this. There's a weight on it. All you do is drop it to the bottom. So it's not like I'm throwing it out in somebody else's direction. It's a gift. It's a gift.
It was amazing. But we had plenty of help. This guy right here helped us out all day. This is the fish hand. Usually the Captain Bill, we'll talk about the name of the company a little bit, goes out with his daughter, but this is his backup. This guy was here to help get the fish off, help get your lines untangled, help clean the fish at the end of the day. So all you got to do is focus on pulling the fish out of the water, which is really fun.
And I'd just like to throw a shout out to our buddy Nick. He'll be showing up in some later episodes. Yes, Nick, I was taller than this guy, and yes, I'm confident I could take him in the post. No question.
Yep. So that was Jaws caught. He had a nice one there. Oh, here we are. Yeah. Kyle's got the hat switched at this point, and
I had to turn the hat around backwards because it's like a switch.
It's very serious. I think he's going over the top here, and hope you guys get that wonderful 80s Sly reference.
I kind of look like I'm training to be a sumo wrestler right now, but
both of us do. Kyle and I are going to talk about fitness in other episodes, but not this one.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
That was the 90s when we were fit. But man, it's so pretty. We're not too far off the coast, and you get out there, some really pretty houses, amazing places, and I mean, we were down 50 feet, maybe 100 feet, and not too far off the coast, but lots of sailboats coming by. And like I said, I'm in it for the cruise alone, not just the fish.
So, like we said, the place was nice enough to save our food for us when we got back. And again, this was my first time having oysters, so I figured
mussels and oysters in his first trip, and we just so they, we're eating that we're here in September. You're supposed to eat oysters in months that ends in ER. You can kind of eat them all the time up here. I love these things. I played for a soccer team from Paducah, and it was up the Mississippi River. So they were a seafood restaurant that sponsored us. So I got to eat some seafood growing up, but it wasn't prevalent everywhere up here, of course. This is what I try to prepare for all my guests when they come up here. So if you're coming to Nova Scotia, you're going to want some of those wines we had in the valley, and you're going to want shellfish because it's a treat here.
And I'm not going to lie, I was a little, little skeptical about letting these things slither down my throat, but I'm glad I did it. They were very, very good, and I highly recommend giving them a try.
they make you feel good. I don't know how, because they shouldn't. They look like they would do exactly the opposite, but they wake you up. There's lots of good minerals in there, and then like these cocktail sauces and vinaigrettes that they prepare with them up here are really good.
And I think part of the reason they saved the food for us is the waitress was pretty impressed with my Rick Astley shirt. She said it stuck the song in her head. So I think the fact that we rickrolled her was one of the
Yes,
reasons she was so nice about saving our food.
I checked all the boxes for her.
So yeah, here we are back on the boat, just to kind of show you a little motion of the ocean, if you will.
Yeah, but we didn't ever get sick at all. We didn't take
No.
any seasick medicine, and that was so nice that it wasn't too sunny. Weather was perfect. You can see we're there in short sleeves and short shorts, and we're very comfortable. So summertime up here is one great time.
And looking very good in the hats once again. I think here
Yeah.
Josh has some mackerel coming up on this line.
Now, I mean, when you're in a spot, you're catching every cast, and that's what you're out there for, is the action. There's people from all over. There's a lot of people from Toronto, Montreal, people from the States that come up here and fish. The captain was telling us he's taking stars out like Sandra Bullock and Harrison Ford. So this is
I guess they didn't know we were coming, or they probably would have been there too.
This guy's great. Oh, here's we go. That's a
So
pile of fish.
Here's our haul for the evening, just before during prep time, and then bam, there you go.
So delicious. I could eat that again tonight. I'd fall asleep just as quick as I did the last time, though.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, we had to throw in a little coleslaw, a little potato salad. We had to southern it up just a little bit.
Yeah, we got a couple different kind of breadings here, but man, you can see like that was it was a lot of fish for just our little group there, and we definitely could have got more if Kyle and I didn't suck so bad at fishing.
Yeah, but hey, at least we got a keeper. I was pretty proud of that.
I was too.
Definitely the biggest fish I've ever caught in my life. So that was pretty awesome.
Hey, we got our own dinner. We got our own dinner. We got a cruise out of it, and I suggest cooking the fish up in nuggets like this and frying it. When you're from the South, that's what you do, is fry everything. There's probably millions of other things healthier that you could do with a fish, but nothing is tasty.
Oh yeah, yeah. So again, here's the Lunenburg Ocean Adventures. This is the boat we went out on, and the Islander ate there. Absolutely fantastic. I would highly recommend it.
Captain Bill, right? That was Captain Bill.
Captain Bill.
Super nice guy, really helpful. The whole day is just a pleasure. I mean, you're out there, you're trying to get an escape, you want a vacation, and this is a guaranteed way to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe that wraps it up. So this was my trip back to the airport. This was our soul to soul day, because we were back to life and
back to reality, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that was the wind down of my summer. Everybody's going back to school. Kyle and I both have children in middle school, high school ages, so they're back in. He's back to his new position in less dangerous doctor's office, and back to work down there. I've got to get back to it too. So, we love this stuff. We've traveled over the last few years. We've been friends for 30 years, and just as the obvious, me having the destination of Nova Scotia that's further from the equator and cooler in the summer is an easy response for Kyle to come up here and beat the heat and hang out with me. Absolutely. So we had a fun time in the valley. We had a fun time on the South Shore, but we've had some other adventures maybe across the pond, and we're going to also be planning many more adventures of places we can go over the years. So we want to,
absolutely,
we maximize our experience, and the way to make it more fun is to go back and talk about them again and learn more about it as we talk. So this is what we do it. That's why we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to see as much as we can and learn as much as we can. I think we touched on this episode 1. We're both kind of history nerds, as you can, it's probably coming through pretty obvious.
Yes, we're history nerds. We're collectors. We love experiences. We love adventures, and we just want to share those because Kyle and I are going to sit on the phone and do this talking beer regardless. We might as well let everybody else in on this silly relationship that we have that we're really proud of. So
yeah, might as well, for sure. But But yeah, so I think next time we're going to kind of give you a little more background information on what got us started down this road and kind of planted the seeds for this idea to travel together and see as much as we can, and kind of give
Yep.
you a little more history of how our friendship has evolved over the years. And
Yep. We some of our heroes and some of the people we look up to that inspired us to do like stuff like this. But I don't know. A lot of people settle in and they're very comfortable with what they're doing. We're just not. We can't sit still and enjoy things. We want to go see more and more and more and learn more and more and more. We're like every corner. If we could go around another corner and see a different building with more history and more years to it, more texture, more flavors at restaurants, different things to try. I want to soak up as many experiences as we can. We got another 40 to 50 years here, and we're going to maximize every one of them.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
So yeah. So thanks for tuning in again. Episode 2, seafood. Episode 3 is in the works. So we hope you guys come back and you're enjoying what you're seeing. Feel free to leave us a comment or question or whatever, and we'll be happy to answer what we can.
Yep. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Like we said, we're going to try to make this a consistent thing. So excuse me, guys. Well, I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah, got to bear with us on the technology. We had to figure out how to do this from 2 different countries, so it took us a little while, but I think we got it down now.
We've never seen a podcast except for our own either. So
yeah, so we're kind of shooting from the hip on everything here. So
as always, beer helps these everything.
absolutely. So thanks again for joining us. Tune in next time. This is Beyond the Buzzer. I'm Kyle, aka the Duke.
And this is Josh, aka Ace One. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.